What's up everybody, and welcome back. Since a good amount of you watched the last update and requested further updates, I have to fulfill my side of the bargain. And fortunately enough, there's a good amount to go over, because 4 chapters were dropped this month, which is crazy. And for anyone who just found this and thinks it sounds good, consider subscribing as we're still on the hunt for 2K subs. And with that out of the way, let's pick up with chapter 6 of after being banished from the celebrity family I supported behind the scenes, all I want is to enjoy a normal life. So chapter 6 starts off with the reintroduction of Himeji, giving the other students' perspective of her and how she became known as the Ice Queen, because she's so beautiful and doesn't talk to people, before cutting back to the early morning, and I mean early, because Atsumu wakes up at 4 AM out of habit for taking care of his sisters, before he goes on a run, makes breakfast, and thinks again how Himeji sounds an awful lot like the VTuber he likes, before finally making it to his first day at the new school. And since it's his first day, obviously it can't go off without a hitch, because I'm guessing just his appearance and happy-go-lucky attitude is what sets off the school delinquent, who hilariously tries to trip him in the most iconic way, but Atsumu just walks right by cause like, come on. But that sets the delinquent Kongo Riki off more, before Atsumu diffuses the situation with sheer confusion, cause Atsumu asks if he's upset about his pants, cause he had patched the holes in his pant leg that was sticking out with cute animals as he passed by, which leaves Kongo so flustered he just sits back down so Atsumu can finally make it to his seat, where he's obviously sitting next to no other than Himeji, who he just casually greets with the classic "please treat me well," which leads to Himeji saying it back and the whole class losing their minds, cause it was the first time they have ever heard her speak. So that obviously leaves Atsumu confused, cause he has no idea she didn't speak to anybody, or that she was known as the Ice Queen. Chapter 7 starts with another flashback where we see Atsumu watching Himeji's VTuber stream as Kaguya, before recapping his being kicked out and meeting Himeji and their reunion as seatmates, where the whole class is staring at him wondering how he is allowed to talk to the Ice Queen Himeji, before he notices her keychain and trying to comment on it, leading to the class staring at him more, and the two of them having to isolate themselves on the roof during lunch so that they can have an actual conversation without being stared at. So naturally, the first question Atsumu asks her is how she got the nickname the Ice Queen, because he doesn't know her to be an Ice Queen, and she gives your typical explanation of being shy and having trouble talking to people, and that just leading to her not talking to people, and that being mixed with her beauty leading to the nickname. And in the typical fashion with these characters, Atsumu promises to have lunch with her every day as they work on her conversation skills. What's not typical though is Atsumu saying he's surprised she's like that cause on her streams she doesn't struggle to talk, which leads Himeji to freak out cause she didn't think anyone would find out it's her, but he only knows cause he recognized her voice, and since no one knows what her voice sounds like in school, no one has figured it out. But it's honestly great, because usually it would be a B or C story in the background that would be a secret, so I'm very glad they got it out of the way, because it also shows Atsumu's not an idiot. He actually put 2 and 2 together, and those 2 and 2 were obvious things. So even though the secret's out, Himeji seems kind of fine with it, especially when she finds out that Atsumu is the one who designed the keychain he was going to call out, and that he has been a long-time fan of hers, which makes her really happy that they've been connected in such a way for a while. But Himeji goes on to say that the reason she's so self-conscious is cause she's tall and beautiful and not small and cute, which just doesn't compute for me cause both are great, you know? But Atsumu says, then let's make you cute, even though he does think she's cool and beautiful and has no problem with how she looks, which yeah. But so chapter 8 starts with another little recap before picking up after school at the mall, where Atsumu is stoked to be there, seeing seeing as it's the first time he's ever gone somewhere with a friend, which actually leaves Himeji bummed, not because of his tragic backstory, but because they're just friends, which is so adorable, and I honestly don't know how she won't be the best girl, cause like, come on man. But anyway, they go to the makeup store cause Atsumu says cuteness can be created, and the store clerk immediately thinks they're a couple before Atsumu borrows makeup samples in a booth to do Himeji's makeup, which leaves the store clerk terrified he's going to jack Himeji up, but since Atsumu's a pro, he basically reinvigorates the clerk's passion for makeup as she sees him as an artist filled with love. Now I'm gonna be honest, you can't really tell the difference between Himeji before and after the makeup, except for the restyle of her hair, but I prefer regular look Himeji to restyle Himeji. Maybe if it was colored or animated, that would be different, but if you agree or disagree, leave it in the comments. But after how great supposedly she comes out, they get mobbed by women asking how he did it and blah blah blah, before the best part of the series so far happens, with Himeji grabbing Atsumu's hand and saying to the crowd, "We're in the middle of our date," before running away with him, which is definitely not something I was expecting to see or hear this early on in this manga, but it's fantastic in life goals. But Himeji even doubles down, saying they were ruining their precious time together, before Atsumu comments that she's speaking normally now, which is a complete buzzkill, but she says it's all thanks to him before they do a compilation of date things, and their time is interrupted again by the same delinquent from their class and the two guys Atsumu already beat up to save Himeji from the first time. So we don't get to see what happens because the story jumps to Atsumu's former sisters with chapter 9, focusing on the fifth daughter, Mutsuki, who's the idol, and things are going poorly for her already. So I'm just assuming this is day 1 after not having Atsumu, but Mutsuki on this first day of not having him already proves how vital he was, because she shows up late to rehearsals because the new manager, Harima Rima, wasn't able to wake her up, which was apparently one of Atsumu's responsibilities. So I already feel bad for Rima because she didn't ask for this or know that the sisters were awful, and I can only assume each new development will be a new crash out from a different sister, which will be nice to see. I just feel bad that Rima's got to deal with it. But after rehearsals are over, they have to go to something else, and Rima is told she has to put Mutsuki's makeup on in the car on the way there, which Rima again didn't expect was something she had to do, seeing as most managers wouldn't. And funny enough, every time Mutsuki brings something like this up, she's hit with a flashback of Atsumu doing it, which pisses her off, and I love it because it doesn't go well, and she messes up the schedule again by having to have her makeup redone, and people get mad at Mutsuki again, which is fantastic. And her downfall only gets better as she starts drinking and drunk posting photos, which leads to a huge scandal and companies canceling their contracts with them, which I can't wait to see the fallout of that. But all 4 chapters are absolutely fantastic, and to me they only further my already hardline opinion that Himeji is the best girl, especially because even though she may be quiet and shy around her declaration of intent with Atsumu is already enough to send me over the top with her as best girl. And I don't know if she can be dethroned at this point. It would take a whole lot to do it, honestly. So we'll see how that goes. Aside from that, I love the pace of this manga. I don't think 4 chapters in 1 month will be typical, so I'm assuming that pace will definitely slow down, but the story pace so far is fantastic. Himeji being a streamer is already out there for Atsumu, and as far as their relationship goes, maybe Himeji hasn't said the words "I love you," but with what she has already said, with them being on a date and the time being precious, like, come on, that'd be enough for me. So relationship development is going great, and downfall development is going great as well. Seeing as it's day 1 and they're already losing contracts, this is fantastic all the way around. If you enjoyed the update, leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're not already. Again, if you want other manga updates for series I've recommended, leave it in the comments. If you don't know what those series are, the Why You Should Read playlist is linked below. Other than that, I'll see all of you in the next one.